Joe in real life. Underground technical death metal legends, the Zenith Passage, new album just dropped. And it's been like 7 years. So I can't even remember the name of the album right now. And I think they only had one. To the extent of my knowledge, they only had one album. That was before this. It's kind of unbelievable. Like the new album and the old album. It's like annoyingly technical. The first album. And in parts kind of unlistenable. Not because it's bad, just because it's so challenging. Like the ear fatigue is pretty extreme. And man, this new album, I am like injected with kind of an excitement. Like everything you could have picked on the first album for, just for being like too inaccessible, too technical, not musical. All of that's been corrected. It's very hooky, very catchy. People might say too hooky and catchy, too riff driven. I'm not saying that. I think it's amazing. And it's somehow technically even more ambitious. The Zenith Passage. If you like technical death metal, you're gonna love it. I thought Archspire finished this genre of music with Bleed the Future, their last album. But we have a strong contender now. And I can't remember the Zenith Passage new album name. Just put in Zenith Passage, or I'll put it in the title. Just really, really exciting. Really good. Anyway, I'm insanely sore today. I'm experiencing kind of a rebirth. I just feel really good and really motivated. It's a beautiful morning. It's nice and cool. I've adjusted to the heat. My running's going well. I'm going to keep it unambitious today. I need to rest a little bit. I think I'm going to do some overhead squats, 2-hand, front squats to my minimum, and then just pick a weird movement and get some reps. Something in the old-timey strongman vein. I'm not going to go very hard today because I want to go hard on the front squats tomorrow. And life's good, man. Who can explain it? Why is it like that for us? You know, or for me at least. Up before the last few days, I was angry and blue. Like, as angry and blue as I get, you know? And just kind of things started lining up. I started taking care of myself a little better. I started to, being more watchful about what I put in my body and about how I rest and about how I work and about how I treat others. Like, I wish that wasn't a factor, but it really is, When I get kind of fucking upset, I start like being a real bitch to everyone in my life. And that's everybody. We're all like that, But when I make a concerted effort, even when I'm feeling miserable, to not mistreat others, it really goes a long way to reverse that current and tide in myself. And I know that to be true, and I struggle to do it anyway. It's like that impulse control's bad or something. But anyway, today's video will be unambitious, and we'll get to it in just a little bit. I'm going to listen to some more of this exceedingly excellent music. Garbage truck's over there, so I'm going to call this off. Stay tuned, guys. We'll see you soon. Okay, so first things first. The album's called Datalysium by the Zenith Passage. And right when I was explaining to you that it somehow managed to sidestep being like ear fatiguing, it did get a little ear fatiguing, but nowhere near to the extreme of their other album, which I think is their first album. and it was also like 6 or 7 years ago. Now, tech death tends to be somewhat fatiguing. I feel like Meshuggah, which is arguably one of the best metal bands, and I would consider a tech death band. I find them almost unlistenable, It's just, I'm exhausted. I'm like physically exhausted after I listen to Catch 33. And like, they're great, Every individual component I love. I think it's amazing. But altogether, I just find it, I don't know. Here I'm doing some snatch work. And just to get to the overhead position, I'm doing like some 2-arm and 1-arm. 1-arm overhead squats and barbell snatch. I warmed up with just this metal bar that I have. I am not good at the snatch. And combining with that, I was really tired. Like right now, I'm feeling like pretty loopy and dizzy. And before I did this, I warmed up very thoroughly and pulled my sled for 1/3 of a mile. So it's about a 70-pound sled. And like, I started getting all kinds of woozy. You can tell from this position that my shoulder mobility is really good, which makes getting into an overhead squat position with the bar pretty tricky. Like, I can definitely go 360 in my shoulder socket. So I don't know, it makes it hard to stabilize the bar, that's all I'm saying. And as a result, it makes this a pretty weak lift for me. Now, I think I top out at 85 pounds, and like, weak lift or not, like, you probably be thinking, Joe, like, you can do a lot more weight than that. Like, that's ridiculously low. I agree. I cut it short because of the elbow tendonitis, and I got a little bit of a hot spot in the left scapula, which was acting up. It's not bad. It's in no way bad at all. But, it was enough so that I didn't want to fool with it. And I just figured, get warm, that's it. I had plans to do another movement after these overhead squats, and then I switched into front squats. But I just don't have it, man. Like, just pushing my brace against my belt towards the end of the set was making me feel like all kinds of nauseous. And I thought the water I had just gooned was going to come right up. It doesn't feel hot out, although I will say that I've acclimated to the heat a little bit over the last week, which is partly why my mood has changed for the better. That's a dumb thing to be like concerned with the weather, but I'm in the South. I know some of you are in Florida. It really does matter. Like, when the summer switches from like hot to extremely hot, you've got to give yourself a little leeway to adjust to that. And although it's somewhat counterintuitive, I've been running in the heat, and I think it's really helped. Like, the runs themselves have been miserable and slow and more of like a war of attrition. But in general, in life, I feel much more vital and much more resilient to the heat because of them. So I don't know if that strategy would work for you, but yeah, this is the 85. It's been working for me. And the squat portion of it is moving really well. My shape, while ugly, feels strong. And my mobility feels good. My ability to stay in control and move through the position, a little celebration move there, like, feels good, So I have no real complaints. Perhaps I'll start dialing that movement in and try to get heavier on it. I don't think I've ever snatched 135 with like a full overhead squat. Maybe that's worth working on. I don't know. We'll see what happens. These are just some pause squats in the bottom position. I'm a little sore, I'm a little woozy, so I'm just feeling them out. Just trying to be friends with my body today. I am gonna run some hill repeats later, but because I'm a dipshit, I'm gonna wait till the hottest point of the day. And also I'm gonna eat some food and get a little rest and hang out with my son. So, you know, I think I'm gonna take the day off today as far as work. That remains to be seen. I reserve the right to change my mind. We went from 95 to 115. You probably saw my gaze was way up to the ceiling on that. I was just moving my head to like see about my scapula activation to see if I could kind of ferret out where precisely it's giving me trouble, and I couldn't. So I just did a dumb thing. You know, a lot of my workouts, a lot of my mobility work is like that. I just do dumb stuff and see if anything happens. 135 moved pretty well, no pause in the bottom. At this point, I'm beginning to feel really, really dizzy, and I'm kind of spacing out and taking long rests. I was doing some assistance work on the side, but honestly, it was embarrassing. Low energy, just kind of like rolling around in my joints, trying to get that glute med activated, you know. And this is 155, my minimum. It moved just fine. A little sticky about 2/3 of the way up, if I'm remembering right. And yeah, man, that's it for today. You know, it's good to be on the upside of all of this. It's good to be having a return to form. I got nothing else for today. This is Joe in real life. I love you guys. Be good to each other out there. I am going to strive hard to do the same. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.